Vedic Religion. The Vedic religion is one of the oldest religions in the world, predating even the ancient pharaohs. It represents the primordial, natural form of Hinduism, derived from the four sacred texts of the Vedas, written in Sanskrit and attributed to divine revelation received by Brahma. These texts are named Sama, Rig, Yajur, and Atharva. They depict the universe as an evolving fabric intertwined with the essence of God, portraying the union of the individual with God as the merging of the soul with the spirit. This religion is based on the immortality of the soul, reincarnation, and belief in a single deity. The righteous soul ascends to heaven, where it is received by Yama, who elevates it to paradise, where it enjoys eternal bliss. One of these texts describes the Vedic heaven as the holy abode and ultimate destination of the immortal gods, the home of eternal light that is the origin and foundation of all existence, where desires are fulfilled as soon as they arise. Brahmanic religion focuses on various ultimate truths in both earthly and celestial life and provides moral advice that, if followed, leads to deserving eternal happiness. It also holds that the human soul is a divine essence, and that death grants the soul a body superior to our mortal forms. Historian Victor Cousin notes that, when we closely study Eastern philosophy, particularly Indian philosophy, we encounter many profound truths that compel us to bow in reverence to Eastern thought, recognizing this cradle of humanity as the home of the highest forms of philosophy. Similarly, Schlegel stated, the highest European philosophy, grounded in idealism as the Greeks formulated it, appears, when compared with the vigorous life and idealistic richness of Eastern philosophy, like a mere glimmer of light beside a full burst of sunlight. In reality, this philosophy did not originate in those ancient times. Rather, it consists of spiritual teachings from the heavens to humans, stemming from a transcendent source beyond human ability. This claim is supported by texts such as the Vedas, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and the wisdom passed down by Greek sages concerning the truth of religion and the nature of the gods. If we were to call things by their final manifestations, the gods would be identified as angels or soldiers, as mentioned in sacred texts. Before moving on to evidence of the identity of the gods as presented in sacred texts, we must clarify that we should not confuse or conflate the later pagan civilizations that arose following ancient Egyptian civilization, developed by self-serving priests with twisted minds, with the great religious truth known to the ancient Egyptians and Greeks, and the certainty of God's existence and the origin of this certainty. We must also not confuse the corrupt pharaoh of Moses' era with Akhenaten, the devout, monotheistic figure who recognized the oneness of God. There is a common belief that all pharaohs claim divinity, but this is incorrect. Ancient texts reveal that pharaohs or kings preserved numerous spells they needed for safety and guidance in the afterlife. Boats were buried in their tombs to follow the solar boat in both day and night and to bask in its light. Their faith in God and order was absolute. Likewise, we should not confuse Socrates and Plato with Heraclitus, who portrayed the ancient Greeks in the most distorted way. Notably, Plato was the teacher of Alexander the Great, who is mentioned in the Quran as Dhul-Qarnayn in the verse, "They ask you about Dhul-Qarnayn. Say, I shall recite to you something of his story." Al-Kahf, 1883. Dhul-Qarnayn was a man whom God empowered on earth, granting him dominion and providing him with all means, enabling him to achieve his aims. This suggests that Alexander the Great was divinely appointed with a mission. This interpretation of Surat al-Kahf indicates that he was a righteous man chosen by God, and God only chooses those who believe in him. So, where did Dhul-Qarnayn's faith originate? It signifies that heaven has always been connected with earth.